The last main game in the Baldur's Gate series was released 20 years ago, if you don't include the enhanced editions or expansions of course, which has left fans of the series pining for the next instalment. Answering the call, new developers Larian Studios have just released Baldur's Gate 3 into early access. Critically acclaimed for their Divinity series, how have they fared here? Usually we would begin these videos with a brief synopsis and commentary on the story overall. However, as this is an early access title, we've only seen a short snippet thus far. What we can say is that the foundations Larian have laid out are fairly solid, and there is a lot of potential for the story from here. From the moment the game begins, there are multiple branching paths for the various quests you find yourself embarking upon, each with a different outcome and with a strong sense that your actions make a difference. See a shiny button? Press it for loot. Or to kill an innocent bystander who may have been a party member. There's no way of knowing really. This leaves little doubt in our minds that the story will be different for everyone, and it leaves a lot of potential replay value as you go from chaotic evil in one run to lawful good in another. And that's just the solo playthroughs. Even now, Baldur's Gate 3 includes the ability to play through the entirety of the game, or what's currently available, in a group of 4 together. Going back to the game's beginning, following the phenomenal cinematic introduction, you're thrown right into the character creation screen. This consists of the standard RPG creation elements, such as your race, class, and stat distribution, as well as some more unique elements such as subclasses and backgrounds. Character model customization is also here and is relatively extensive, with enough variations of faces, hairstyles, tattoos and more to ensure that your character is truly your own. There are some shortfalls, such as only having a few faces to choose from, but it all adds up, and there are no restrictions. Want to play as a bearded lady? Go for it. Once in the game, the controls are relatively simple and intuitive, albeit extensive. Movement and the like is instantly familiar, hotkeys are logically assigned, and the UI as a general is clean and unobtrusive. The bottom bar shows your health and AP, attacks, actions and items. In the top right is the minimap, which clearly indicates allies, enemies and the like, and is surrounded by the various menu icons. Though I should note here that an addition we would like to see is the ability to click the minimap for movement also. In the bottom left we find the party cards, and finally in the top left we have the combat order. Despite the clean interface however, with so many icons and shortcuts, it can take a newcomer to the series a while to acclimate. This is harshened by the shallow tutorials. For example, for the first 15 minutes or so, I was completely unaware that I could rotate the camera, or how to rest to regain spellcasts, and Steve was unaware that his melee party members had access to ranged attacks for several fights. Talking of attacks, let's talk combat. For those not familiar with the Baldur's Gate series, combat in the previous titles took a much more RTS style approach, with combat happening in real time and players pausing as necessitating to plan and prepare attacks. Baldur's Gate 3, however, takes a turn-based approach to combat, with players instead instructing a single character at a time. Each turn consists of movement, performing a single action such as attacking or aiding a fallen ally, plus one bonus action. This may be off-putting to some veterans of the series, however Larian are undoubtedly masters of this style. Divinity Original Sin is great evidence of this, and they've done a good job of implementing it. There are some good additions here too which we like, such as soaking your weapon in environmental effects like fire or acid for additional damage, or the ever so gratifying ability to push your opponents off a cliff. Another thing Larian are good at is making the combat challenging, and they've pulled no punches here. Rushing into a situation carelessly will quickly see you outnumbered and outmatched, forcing you to reload and try again. Thankfully, they thought to include a quick save and load feature. Outside of combat then, Larian have implemented several staples of RPG games that we're glad to see here. Side quests are extensive, but they never feel out of the way, instead tying into or forming subplots to the main story branches. Companion missions are also present and are tied to said companion's opinion of you. This can have a potentially large impact on your gameplay, as a single screw-up can be enough for them to leave your party. We are also glad to see key elements of Baldur's Gate have been kept in place. Whilst you can detach the camera from your party and look around RTS style, you are restricted in the range at which you can do this, often shortened further by the fog of war. Speech checks will bring up a d20 that you must roll to beat the target value in order to pass, harkening back to its roots in the Forgotten Realms D&D campaign setting. And the various species, creature and the world stay true to their established lore rather than rewriting the canon. On the subject of the world, it's very well crafted. With a good level of detail and vastly varied environments, it's a pleasure to look at. Lighting is done well too, with dungeons and crypts being near pitch black unless a character who can see in the dark is used. And the lush forests and beaches are bright and cheerful. Pre-rendered cinematics, as previously stated, are phenomenal. However, the in-engine cinematics could do with some work. Character models up close are decent enough, but they can seem off at times, and are dreadful for clipping through not only objects, but themselves. These cinematics are almost completely voice acted, with parts that are not being narrated. Each line is well delivered, with the actors doing well to portray the persona and emotion of their characters. Staying with sound, the general ambience of the world and combat are decently done. Firebolts sound like fire, and sword strikes sound like steel. There is a lack of environmental awareness, however, such as echoes in caves, which can leave it feeling artificial. Musically, the game nails it, cementing the setting of your surroundings, and where needed, building suspense excellently. Normally, at this stage, we would include a score out of 10. However, with us having so little of the game to play right now, due to its early access nature, we feel it's unjust to do so. With that being said, for fans of these styles of game, there is a lot of potential here. Would we recommend it right now? No, as £50 is a lot of money for only 5 hours of gameplay, unless you have the spare cash and you want to fund the development early and help to bug fix. Regardless, we would say definitely keep an eye out for the full release, as it will no doubt be more than worth its asking price. We are certainly excited. Let us know your thoughts down below for Baldur's Gate 3, and with that, we thank you for watching, and we'll catch you all next time.